I'd like to talk to you today about 6 things that I do every single day that have really helped me to deepen my spiritual self, to put on a kind of armor for the day, to get ready for the day, to feel prepared, to feel like God is with me. These 6 things have helped me as a person, as a mother, as a wife, as a pastor. I feel so much more peaceful and confident and joyful than before I did these 6 things. And total, all of them take 1 hour. So I'm going to go over these 6 habits. And they say that what you do in the morning sets your tone for the day and gets you prepared for the day. They also say that a life is made up by what you do daily, your daily routines. That's how you establish who you are in this world. And you open yourself up to greater and greater things by the habits that you do. Not the big things, but the little things that you do consistently every day. So these are my 6 things. Take them for whatever they're worth for you and feel free to adapt them to your own schedule. So for me, I get up at 6 o'clock every day, not too early, but I spend some time in meditation. And for me, I meditate for 20 minutes every day. I didn't start this way. I started small, just 4 or 5 minutes or so, and then I added on time more and more. But for 20 minutes every day, I close my eyes and I focus on my breath. I might focus on one word if I need more help just focusing and centering. Sometimes I listen to a sound like the sound of a fan or an air conditioner or a heater. And for the first 10 or 15 minutes or so, I don't really feel much happening. But then in about the last 5 minutes, I feel this deep sense of peace. Sometimes I feel like an idea comes to me that doesn't feel like it's something I thought up. It feels like I'm hearing this from God speaking to me. Sometimes I'll see something in my mind's eye, like a symbol or some kind of a pattern or the face of a person, and I feel this sense that I'm supposed to reach out or that it would be good to talk to them. But I always end this meditation feeling centered and aligned with God and more ready for the day, whatever the day brings. And some of the times are more productive than others. Sometimes I just feel a little bit of peace. Other times I feel like I sense this gigantic message that came from nowhere. So it's not always the same sense of productivity in the meditation, if you will, but they're always very useful. And I do that every single day. I can't imagine going through the day without it because it's like getting spiritually dressed in the morning, and I wouldn't run out not getting dressed either or not having coffee. It's what I do, brushing your teeth, and you don't need to do any of these things, just like you don't need to brush your teeth, but it's healthy for you to brush your teeth. And for me, this is just very healthy spiritually to do this. And so as I've worked up to 20 minutes, I don't think I'm going to go longer than that. I think that's a really good time for me. The next thing I do is I read a little bit of the Bible. Now, in our church, we're going through reading the Bible in a year, and that takes a longer time. So I'll do that later in the afternoon as part of my work that I'm doing. But for devotional time, I just read the Bible for a few minutes. What I do every morning is I read one psalm. And I've done this since I was a teenager. I just read one psalm, and I ask for God to show me one line in the psalm that is meaningful for me for that day. So I'll read just the one psalm many times, 3 or 4 times, and I just go in order, and I read one every single day. And then when I'm done, I go back to the beginning of Psalms and I read the first one again. I read them in order. That's always very, very powerful. It just takes a few minutes, but it's very powerful. So that's the second thing I do is I read the Bible. The third and fourth thing I do is I quickly write out my gratitude and my goals. So I have a notebook and I write every day 20 things I'm grateful for. And some of them might be repeats of the day before. Some of them might be new things that I'm thinking about. But I start the day with gratitude because it just shifts your mindset so much. Instead of thinking about lack, thinking about abundance. Instead of thinking about problems to solve, thinking about how when we just have our hands open, God gives us so much. So I think about people or situations or my health or energy or the coffee I'm drinking or anything, and I write that down. So altogether, those 4 things, meditation and then the Bible and then writing down my gratitude, and then I write down my goals I have 6 goals and I write them every single day to keep my goals before my eyes. All of that together in total, those 4 things takes 30 minutes, approximately. And then I take a break, take my daughter to school, and then come back every day. And then I do the last 2 things that I do every single day. And that is that I exercise. For me, it's either by walking for a half an hour or I do a half an hour of yoga, stretching. So I exercise, and then lastly, the other thing I do every day is that while I'm exercising, I listen to some kind of podcast that's helpful, that helps me grow, that helps me deepen in my understanding of God or myself or my neighbor or something I'm trying to learn or a way that I'm trying to grow. So that part, the exercising and podcast, that also takes a half an hour. So total, all of these 6 things take 1 hour. But it sets me up in the day to feel like a champion. I feel so good. I feel so like I've exercised my spirit, my mind, my emotions, my body. I feel like I just have a tune-up, and I am ready for the day. So by the time I actually get into work, I am so tuned in to where I think God is calling me to be and the goals that God's calling me to accomplish. I feel like God is so present and alive in my life. I can't imagine being in ministry and feeling like I'm doing this alone. But I never feel that way because I feel like I have the absolute power and presence of God going before me, and I am just following where I feel like God is calling me for the day. So this isn't just helpful for ministry, though. This is helpful for anything. I mean, I tell my daughter these things, and I ask her to do any of them that make sense to her. And I tell my son about these things, and I tell my husband about these things. I think all of these things, meditation, Bible, gratitude, goals, exercise, helpful podcasts, I think that's helpful for everybody. So think about if any of these things make sense to you for your spiritual life. Those are not even things I do in the afternoon. I have other things that are helpful as well, but those are usually more flexible and random and different. But in the morning, nobody is asking for my time or my commitment other than taking my daughter to school. So I have much more flexibility. So I find that if we can get a handle on our mornings and get up, not just to rush off to work or rush through the day, but if we can get a handle on our mornings first and set the tone first for who we are and how we're grounded, then nothing can shake us during the day. And we'll be able to accomplish so much more, feel more alive, feel more joyful, be open to love. And then you'll just have more things to write about in your gratitude journal in the morning. So God's blessings to you. If you like these videos, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to comment in the comment box, and make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.